I mean, again, I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
No, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
I have to say I'm frustrated because they only sent the first 5 episodes, and it's quite the cliffhanger. So I'm I'm rather annoyed that that's the bad thing about getting them ahead of time. And when you started putting this project together, did you have in your mind pretty much what the flow, the scope of the show was going to be over the season?
I did, yeah. I when I initially pitched the project to Hulu, I pitched them a pretty strict beat by beat of the pilot, but I also pitched them the broad strokes of the first season and much broader strokes of where the season could go after, or where the show could go after that. You kind of always have to do that when you're pitching a show, because
Yeah.
you might have a great pilot, but you have to show them that there's a show beyond that. And then after writing the pilot, I had to write a series format, which is essentially like a 30-page mini Bible where you have to go in a lot of detail. So, but a lot of things changed and morphed and grew and warped in the writer's room in a really fun way. But I definitely had a lot of the bigger parts of the arc planned out.
Well, yeah, I was curious about that because there's a lot of things going on in the show. There's a lot of twists and there's a lot of nuance and I'm wondering how much the actors and being the specific characters, once you see somebody in a character, how much does that change what you can do with the character? And is there an example that you said, oh, we've cast this person, now we can do this with the character?
Um, there's definitely a little bit of that. I think I already had the outline of the season, and we had broken all the episodes before we started casting anyone. But certainly once you see their voice, you see how they talk and how they move, and that starts to have an impact on how you write the character to some degree. But there certainly were some characters, mainly I think with Pippa and Bree, once we saw who we cast, they were amazing, and I loved them so much from the start. But I did make some changes to some of the scripts that we'd already written just to feel more authentic to those actors.
It seems like one of the biggest challenges you have now at this point promoting the show is explaining to someone what it is, because I've tried doing that and it's not easy. It's not a 30-word thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a few genres. I think it's, at its core, I think it's a relationship drama, but there are times when we feel like we're in a thriller. There is also, I think, some darker comedy and some fun to be had, for sure.
I mean, certainly one of the things I liked, especially with the two leads, is that in a lot of these similar shows, there's a lot of black and white to it.
Mhm.
This is the good person in the relationship. This is the bad person. And the more you get into the show, you realize, both of these people are very, very broken in a lot of really core ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I think very few people are all good or all bad. I don't know anyone who is all one or the other. And it was fun I think initially you do sort of think Lucy is going to be the victim, and then you start to see that she's got some issues herself. And yeah, that was really fun. And also I like not knowing week to week, are you going to like this person next week? And it changes, because that happens in real life too. People shock you. People that you think you know really well can really, really shock you.
Well, and it seems like a lot of stuff happened in that fifth episode to sort of change people's perceptions. I mean, there's the scene with Lucy in bed where she's explaining what happened when her dad died, and the conversation comes out that you realize she's a very screwed up girl. She's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with Steven, the little thing with his mom where she convinces him to pick this restaurant and she manipulates him into it with this Jedi mind thing. And you just realize the same way. How do you get out of that, of the impact of having a mother like that?
Yeah, I think it was really important for us, especially with Steven, to not so that we forgive his behavior, but so that we understand it. And I think that so much of his behavior is a defense mechanism, because you grow up, you learn the tools that you learn to survive. And I think he's never trusted anyone because of the home he grew up in. And so when you don't trust people, you treat them like someone who's not to be trusted, and you don't treat them well, and you're not honest with them.
Well, I really enjoyed, what I've seen in the show so far. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it. And I hope that it does well, because it's definitely something different. So,
Thank you so much. That really makes me happy. Thank you.
well, thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Have a great day.